Everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So tomorrow's ratings, Friday's ratings, depending on when you're watching this video, Friday's ratings are actually free for everybody. And when I say free, I mean basically you can see exactly what our premium members see for the ratings. So how do you do that? So first of all, if you go to the dashboard, let's just load up a new tab. Go to the dashboard and click on tomorrow, or if you're looking at this on Friday, click on today. And then click on races and click on the first one. So it will be 11:40 at Doncaster. Now you will see all of this data. If you don't, what you need to do is go up to settings, CSV up here in the top right hand corner. Click it, click column settings and click show all. And then click update. Now what that will do is that will add all of the stats that we've got available, and you will then see them all like this. And you'll be able to go through every single race tomorrow and have a look at the ratings. So, why would you want to be interested in the ratings? Well, they've done it again. They've had a great day again today. Lots of top-rated winners, some really nice ones, including El Vigoro winning the Novices Handicap Hurdle, actually leading home a lovely 1-2-3 for the ratings. Another good result was Sherry Dam, who we actually highlighted in the email as the race of the day. In yesterday's email, did we send it yesterday? Yeah, we sent it yesterday. Email, Sherry Dam won it, beating Telepathique with You Wear It Well in third. Despite the market got that wrong, the favourite was only third, but they were only third on our ratings, which is a great result for our ratings. And there's been lots of other top-rated winners, so do get involved with our ratings. If you're not signed up to a premium account, you really are missing out. But give tomorrow's a try for free, have a look. And if you want a further free upgrade, let me know. As long as you've not had like multiple in the past, you can't keep getting free upgrades for obvious reasons. But if you haven't had one and you'd like to try them for more than just the one day on the Fridays, give me a shout, drop me a live chat message or a DM on Twitter, and I will get back to you. So we've actually got some selections for tomorrow, all at Cheltenham. And starting off in the 12:40, the Novices Chase, 2.5 mile. And I'm going to take on the favourite here. I'm going to take on Caldwell Potter on the basis that I think Caldwell Potter might be being regarded based on his, not based on his ability, but more based on his reputation. And we can actually see he's only performed once a really good figure when winning at Leopardstown. Now, he's since obviously moved trainer. He's also had 340 days off the track. He won as expected 12 days ago. But interestingly, the Paul Nicholls has come out and said this was like a last-minute decision. And they're trying to get some experience into him. And I just wonder whether this might come a bit soon for him. And I want to take him on with Django Bay. Now, I know Django Bay hasn't actually run for 245 days. But at least this has probably been where they've been looking at with this horse, rather than, oh, we've had a run and now we're quickly coming back so quick. And on official ratings, there's actually not anything between them. Caldwell Potter has to carry 11.9. Django Bay has to carry 11.4. They're rated 151 and 146. Our ratings actually have Django Bay higher rated. The Nicky Henderson horse. And just on that, I'm going to give Django Bay a chance. I really like the horse. I think his form actually last season was good. Got beat by Katira at Aintree, the best handicapped horse probably at Aintree. We were lovely, great decision we were on. Second to Personal Ambition in a Grade 2. Nothing wrong with that really. Second to Handstands. Now Handstands did bounce back last time out, winning quite nicely at where did he win? At Sandown, over 3 mile. That was a good performance. And yeah, I just think Django Bay has probably been running into some nice horses. Even at Aintree, got beat by Favour and Fortune in when winning a Grade 1. Winning the Formby Novices Hurdle, beating Favour and Fortune. Caldwell Potter has to prove that he's up to that. Whereas I think Django Bay has already done that. Yes, I know he's also a Grade 1 winner at Leopardstown. I don't believe that form as much as I believe the form of Django Bay's, to be honest. And I don't think there should be anything between them in the odds in the market. And because of that, if we actually look at the odds, Let's have a look. Load it up here so that we can see that this is the current odds and not just some odds that I'm making up about, that were available 3 hours ago, and then I'm going to say, yeah, we're going to get involved in this gamble or any of that rubbish. Didn't actually know it was being supported. Currently available at 13-8. I think that's a fair price. I think Caldwell Potter is worth taking on the basis that this wasn't what they were planning to do with him, and they're bringing him out quickly, and that might just come back to bite them in the bum. So, yeah, Django Bay is my selection in the Novices chase. Moving on to the 115 at Cheltenham, the 2 mile 1 handicap hurdle. I'm going to go for Valgrand here. I think Valgrand may be favourite. Let's have a look. He's not Wheelmount's favourite. Now, Wheelmount had been entered in Races Over Fences, and I think it's a bit of a strange decision. I wonder whether the good performance of Peaky Boy Over Fences has changed what they're doing with Wheelmount. He was entered in novice handicap chases and didn't take his chance. Now, I like Valgrand. Drop him back in distance. He went to the Cheltenham race in October, the Grade 2, and beat Gail Marler, who had come into the race in really good form. But he beat him by 17 lengths, giving away £2. Really, really impressive performance. And yeah, I thought it was a very, very impressive performance. And they stepped up in trip next time. They went up to 2 mile 5 and tried to take on Potter's Charm. Now, I feel that there was a couple of things that happened here. Potter's Charm stayed further. Valgrand didn't, and they went forward on Valgrand, and they tried to give £2 to Potter's Charm. They went forward on Valgrand, over 2 mile 5, and just got tired late on and ended up getting quite comfortably beaten by Potter's Charm. But the way they won the Grade 2 previously at Cheltenham, I don't think this horse is a handicapper, and I just feel that he's got so much pace, he can go forward here, make all the running, and yeah, I think Wheelmount may be found for a bit of fitness late on, because he hasn't run for 349 days, and I kind of feel that the rest of them are going to end up and stay as handicappers, whereas Wheelmount could end up in graded races, granted, and I think Valgrand will go back into graded races. They're running here. I think this will tell them that they have a graded horse just over 2 mile, not 2.5 that they tried to push him up to. Maybe they think they've got a 2 miler, the Skeltons, and they wanted a 2.5. It didn't quite work, so they went, okay, let's go back to Handicap Company now, and or let's go into Handicap Company, win a handicap en route to going for something at the Cheltenham Festival. Probably the county. So that's Valgrand, who I like. He is currently available at 130, which I think is a fair price for him, to be honest. I think that's quite nice. I thought he would be favourite here for sure. Moving on to the 150, we're sticking with the Skeltons, and we're going for Ballygriffin Cottage, who is a bit of a bigger price than some of my others that may be in this video. Let's have a look at what he is currently. He's available at 8-1, third favourite. So we're trying to take on the 2 in-form horses in Chianti Classico and King Tertian. Now, Chianti Classico is currently rated 157. This is a strange one for me, because they're saying, do we have a Grand National horse or do we have a Gold Cup horse? If they win it, they've probably got a Gold Cup horse, but he's not going to be good enough for a Gold Cup. I really don't believe that. I don't think he's going to be good enough for a Gold Cup. But if they also win it, or go, run really well here, they're going to go up in the handicap and rule themselves out of winning a Grand National. You can't be winning a Grand National off such a high mark, off the back of multiple wins. If you've been winning graded race and you've coming down, I think you can, but I don't like this type of profile for a Grand National. Now, I just wonder whether Kim Bailey might be checking out what he's actually got here. Similarly, King Tertian has been winning a lot, significantly easier races for me. These are much, much better horses. We've only got to look. Last 2 runs ago, he won a handicap, beating a 115 rated horse. And then last time out, he beat Vintage Fizz, who's only rated 127. Well, 127 is actually £4 lower than any of these horses that he takes on here. I think he's going to find these are now too good for him. So I'm trying to take those both of those on at the front of the market. And the horse I've ended up with is Ballygriffin Cottage, who over this trip I think could be very interesting. He was in a race recently in a Premier Handicap in November, and he fell really early. So we never actually got to see what he was like over this sort of trip. His previous effort at Chepstow on his return, he never got involved and just stayed on late on. But his run at Uttoxeter was good 3 runs ago, and 4 runs ago in the Scottish National. I just thought he got tired. He didn't stay the 4-mile trip, but ran well for a long way. I think he actually came to like the second last, maybe in the lead. A reproduction of that, for me, gives him a really big chance here. This 3-mile at Cheltenham, a 3-mile 2 at Cheltenham, I think is ideal trip. I think this is bang on what he wants, and this is his chance to really put down a marker as to where he is in the season. And it's worth 56 grand. I think they're coming here to try and win this. It's also on ITV, which means it's in the David Power racing competition, which means if Harry wins it, the jockey, Harry Skelton, he gets more points towards his total, and that could end up winning him the title. I think he's going to win that title quite comfortably, but I think they're going to throw everything they have at all of these races, because there's a lot of prize money available for winning the feature handicaps and also winning that champion jockey, David Power champion jockey competition. And yeah, if Harry wins that, the trainer gets some prize money as well, as do the stable staff. So I think they really are targeting these races, and this looks perfect for me for Ballygriffin Cottage. And I'm happy to take a chance on him that Chianti Classico, he's going to be found out soon with his handicap mark, and I think this is too competitive for King Tertian. A couple more races to go. The 3 actually. The 225 at Cheltenham. Again, I really like the Skeltons here. Chanbleu. I actually tweeted last time Chanbleu run, Chanbleu will step forward from that and could now go into veterans races. That was after he finished 4th in a decent race at Bangor, when he got beat by Celeb Dalen, Pullagen Green and Monty Igueldo. That wasn't a veterans race. This is now a veterans race. Went from a marker 142 down to 141. I thought he went too hard from the front. I don't think he was given the best of rides that day by Harry Skelton. That race is worth 20 grand. This is worth 20 grand, but it's significantly easier in my opinion. This is an easier one, being a veterans race. And yeah, I think this might have been the target for him this season. They've had that one run. They've got him back. I think the veterans races is where they're going to target. This 2.5 trip is a little bit on the short side, but at Cheltenham, and the way he likes to be ridden, and with Dashel Drasher in the race, who I think is going to go forward, I think you're going to have to stay 3, which obviously Chanbleu does. And with that in mind, I think he's got a great chance here at 11-2. And again, similar story. It's involved in that Paddy Power, the David Power Jockeys Championship. So this run and ride would count towards Harry's total. So although it's only worth potentially 20 grand here, if it came down to it at the end of the season that he won by 1 and this was the winner, it would be worth a lot more. So I do think they'll be trying here again, and I think this has been looked at for a little while with Chanbleu. We've got to remember he's dropped a significant way in the handicap now. He's down to 141, having been previously rated as high as 152. Yeah, I think he's going to run a really big race here, to be honest. Moving on to the 3 o'clock, the cross-country race. I'm going to go for good old Mr. Coffee. I thought last time, I actually made a tweet about it. That's a frustrating ride on Mr. Coffee. Never put in the race. That was the cross-country. And it was his first attempt at the cross-country, and I don't think he was put in the race at all. I think they rode him to let's see if he gets round, enjoys it, etc. He did. He got round, he was fine. And he was actually out of the handicap that day. He's not tomorrow. He's in the handicap. He was out of the handicap because Conflated kept him out of the handicap. He's in the handicap proper. Nico rides him again. I think Nico will be a little bit more positive on him, keep it involved a little bit more. And yeah, I think he will run a really big race here. He's currently available at, let's load them both up for the last two. Mr. Coffee is currently available at 11 to 2. There's 3 11 to 2s, that's why I was just counting. Available at 11 to 2. I think he is going to run a big race, and I think he's going to be much better for his experience over the fences. I think he's going to be very competitive this time. Don't expect him to be waiting right out the back the whole time. I imagine he'll be ridden fairly conservatively again, but on that final short circuit, the third one, not the film obviously, what a film that is. Aye, Johnny 5 alive, I think it says something like that. Anyway, very much distracted there, wasn't I? I think he's going to be much more prominent on that third circuit and be getting involved a lot earlier and not being ridden to just finish strongly at the end of the race. So that's Mr. Coffee in the cross-country race. And then we're actually going to end the day with 2 in the handicap hurdle, the 3-mile handicap, because I do not want to miss one, but I feel one horse is probably the best. So they are Doyen Quest, who's available at 6 to 4. And Thanks for the Help, who's available at 9s. But interestingly, you'll notice that Thanks for the Help, that is his second preference. He's also in a race at Bangor, where I'm just having a look. I think he wins that race at Bangor if he runs there. I'll be backing him in both races, to be honest. Here, and also, let's have a look. Bangor, 240. Here, where he's available at 5s. On the basis that if he runs here, I think he also goes really well. Starting with Doyen Quest, obviously he's just still massively improving, isn't he? Won again last time out. He finished second in the Silver Trophy 2 runs ago. Stepped back up to 3 mile. Won over 3 mile, beating Gamble Road. And that was actually his first attempt at 3. And he actually won it really impressively. He won it in the style of a horse that maybe he's much, much better over 3 mile, and what they've been doing over 2.5 was, you know, hugely, not, what's the word I'm looking for? They were winning races over 2.5 just because he was that good. He was held up, and he was a long way out, long way behind, even with 2 to jump. And then he almost looked like he jumped in, you know, right near the finish, because Harry went, okay, let's go. And he sprinted home, won by 5 lengths, beating the right horses in Gamble Road, Noble Birth, and Thanks for the Help. I think that race will work out really well anyway. Probably tomorrow, Doyen Quest, Gamble Road, and Thanks for the Help finishing the 1, 2, 3 if they all run here. But yeah, I thought Doyen Quest was really, really impressive over 3 mile, and maybe that's what he's been wanting the whole time, and yet he's been able to win over 2.5 because he's that classy. Maybe he's a graded horse. So I do want to have a go on Doyen Quest at 6 to 4, and also Thanks for the Help at 9s and 5s, purely on the basis that I think he's nicely handicapped. Well, he is nicely handicapped. He went off favourite, remember, for a Temps final a few years ago. He went off 100 to 30 off a mark of 128 for a Temps final. 3 mile is his trip, and he ran well at Cheltenham when kind of coaxed into it late, didn't really get after him. It looked like they were testing the waters again. Because he's in at Bangor as well, if he goes here, this looks significantly easier in my opinion. Let's have a look to see what our ratings say. Bangor, 240. What do our ratings say about the 240? They've got him down here, but you can see that some of his R figures would be good enough to win this. That 139.6 would be good enough to win. 145.6. These are a long time ago from Schalke. There's no odds at the moment for Thanks for the Help. They will come soon because it's only reading his entry at Cheltenham at the moment. If he goes here instead, I think he will be able to bounce back to this sort of form. And as I said, even that 139.6 should be good enough to take all of the beating, in my opinion, at Bangor. So I'll be backing him in 2, hoping that he just ends up in the 1 and we end up with Doyen Quest at Cheltenham and Thanks for the Help at Bangor. So they are my selections. A quick recap. Django Bay to beat Caldwell Potter in the 2.5 Novices chase. I don't think there's a lot between them anyway. He's a better price than Caldwell Potter, and Caldwell Potter is coming here almost as a last-minute thing, whereas I wonder whether that might just catch him out. Valgrand back over this trip. I think he's a graded horse over this trip. Just got outstayed and was also ridden like he wanted 3 mile. He was ridden as if they were testing him over 3, and he didn't stay the 2.5. Drop him back in trip, go hard from the front. I don't think he'll get caught. He's currently available at 130. Ballygriffin Cottage, I'm hoping that Chianti Classico kind of has other races in mind now. And King Tertian finds this a bit class. These horses are a bit too good for him. This is a step up in class for sure. Ballygriffin Cottage is available at 8. Sticking with the Skelton, Chanbleu, I think drops in trip, drops in class and drops in trip. This is definitely an easier race than when he was a good fourth last time out. A reproduction of that effort, and I think he takes all of the beating. Mr. Coffee, I think, will be put in the race a bit earlier this time. Now they know that he does run well around this cross-country course. They might as well go for it this time, win this, and then go to the Cheltenham Festival and try and win there, rather than winning earlier on in the season, winning this, and then probably ending up too high in the handicap. So that's Mr. Coffee, who's available at 11-2. I like Doyen Quest at 6-4. That's gone, so it's 11-8. Sorry, now at Cheltenham. And thanks for the help at 9s. Doyen Quest could be absolutely thrown in still over 3 mile. I thought it was a hugely impressive effort last time out. And thanks for the help. If he doesn't run at Cheltenham and goes to here instead, I think Bangor instead, I think he will take all of the beating at Bangor. But I will be backing him at Cheltenham just in case Doncaster is off, or Bangor is off, sorry, for whatever reason, and he ends up having to take his chance at Cheltenham. I still think he'll be the one to chase home Doyen Quest if Doyen Quest finds that £10 rise too much. Thanks for the help, would take advantage of that. Mai Tai, I don't think stays this trip, and Gal Road, I imagine, will now be aimed at dropping in the handicap to get him back for that Pertemps final.